For people to say websites are no longer necessary, it's like saying business cards are no longer necessary. I think that a website is still your digital front desk. I think that OTAs are wonderful if you use it the right way for discovery. And then once the guest gets there, make sure they never book through an OTA again. Make sure they always book direct.
Hi, and welcome back to the Moments That Matter podcast, the podcast where we take a deep dive into the pivotal moments that have shaped today's leaders. I've got a special one here today. We are joined by Mr. Scott Eddy. Scott, how are you?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me, man.
Thank you. Thanks for taking the time out. I know you've been traveling a lot lately. For those who are not familiar with you or haven't had the opportunity to hear you speak yet, can you tell the viewers a little bit about yourself?
So essentially, I help the global hospitality industry connect with audiences in ways that drive revenue, whether it's through social media strategy. I speak on stages maybe 10, 15 times a year. I sit on advisory boards or creating content with influencer campaigns. Everything I do comes back to showing hotels, cruise lines, and destinations how to turn storytelling into ROI.
Fantastic. And when you say the audiences, connect them to different audiences, is that audiences that you have or that you curate specifically for each hotel?
So it depends. A lot of people want access to my audience. So, a little bit about me. I did 10 years in investment banking before I got in this industry, and I still do advisory work for a lot of VCs and family offices. So I still speak at a lot of those events. So I do have a higher end audience that follows me. For example, it's easier for me to sell a room that costs $5,000 a night versus one that costs $100 a night. I know that sounds weird, but it's just the audience that I have. It's easier to sell to the higher end audience.
Wow. Let's take it back. Where did you grow up?
I was born in Michigan, raised in Fort Lauderdale. It's so I don't remember living in Michigan, but I used to visit there all the time. My dad's whole side of the family lives there.
Well, and did you go to school for investment banking?
Barely finished high school. It's barely graduated high school. No. So how it all happened was my father was a police officer. He was a Michigan State Trooper. And then when we moved down to Florida, he was a Fort Lauderdale cop. And my life was set up to finish high school, join the police academy, become a cop, get married, have the 2.5 kids, retire, and die. Like that was the plan. Like back then, that was the plan of everybody. The plan is to go to school, get a job, have kids, and retire and die.
So you saw your father doing this and said, "Hey, it's a good life."
Yeah. Oh, it was. I mean, like being a police officer, it's still to this day, it's in my DNA. Like it's the only thing that I was ever trained to do my whole life. I took my driver's license in a police car. I watched an autopsy when I was 12 years old. I've seen interrogations my whole life. I mean, it's literally been my whole life. So I had a date to join the police academy 6 months after I graduated high school. And 3 weeks before I graduated high school, my father was killed in the line of duty in a plane crash. And it just turned my whole world upside down. And I did not want to be a cop anymore, but I had a huge problem. I wasn't trained for anything else. I hated school. I made horrible grades. And then I was just really lost. And a friend's friend was friends with these guys in New York. This is 1989. So the stock markets are going through the roof. And these guys were coming down to Florida. They were leaving their firm to come to Florida to open up their own place. And he said, I can get you in the training program of the investment banking house. And I said, are you crazy? Like, I made horrible grades in math. I don't know how to sell. I know nothing about finance. And he's like, well, what else are you going to do? You have no other options. So I agreed and went and I got accepted. And I did that for 10 years. Looking back at it now, it was the best decision that I could have made at that point in time in my life because I was taught how to sell anything to anyone. and I still use the principles I learned every single day in my life. Um, and then how the next transition happened is the guy who sat next to me, his best friend was an expat who worked in Bangkok. And every time he used to come back and come visit back home here in South Florida, we used to hang out, get drinks and dinner, and we all became really good friends. And he always used to tell me to come visit. And I was like, bro, I work 90 hours a week. I can't take a 24-hour flight. Like the math doesn't work out. So they came out of the office one day. It was January of 99. I've been there for 10 years. It was a Friday. I'll never forget this day. And they said, we just sold the firm. If you show up on Monday, you're going to have a new owner. And a lot of people resigned, including myself. And the guy called me the next day and he said, listen, you have no job. Come visit me. So I was like, you know what? You're right. I bought a 2-week ticket, left the next day. And after 4 days in Bangkok, I just loved it. I mean, coming from the finance world where like it's only about money, it's only about attitude, it's only about ego, that's the only thing that matters, to a country where like it's all about kindness, it's all about warmth, it's all about like I was just blown away. I wasn't used to that.
Probably a
And
different
after four,
pace of
yeah,
life as well.
I mean, it
Different.
was night. It's like another planet. So after 4 days, I called my mother. I said, I'm done. I'm moving here. Send my things. And I ended up living there for 11 years.
Unbelievable. It probably gave your brain a chance to just take a break. Just
Yeah, I mean, I did anything but relax. I partied my butt off all over Asia for the next 4 or 5 years. Made a lot of friends, and I had a blast. I mean, it was a
so
fantastic time. I
were
was
you
living in
living with a
Bangkok.
guy? Were you living with this guy, or did he, put you up nearby, your
I
buddy?
got my own. I got my own place. I got, a big thing, especially in Asia, is long-term extended stay hotels. So I stayed in sort of like a combination of an apartment and a hotel. So it was fully furnished like a hotel, service every day like a hotel, but it was an apartment. So I lived there for the first 5 years, and you know, you don't want to move to a new country in a new continent. You don't speak the language, you don't know anything, and then have to do everything. Like, I don't want an unfurnished place. I don't want to, you know, organize cleaning and electrical, and you just want to go somewhere that's easy to get acclimated. So yeah, so I mean, I just really fell in love with the region, and that's when everything was blowing up out there. And so after 4 years, 5 years, social media came out, and on a whim, I started a marketing agency, what turned into the first digital agency in Asia, and we were the biggest in the region for 5 years, and all my clients were hotels. So this is when we did the first wave of crazy hotels in Bali. We did the Western casinos in Turn Macau. We did all of Southeast Asia, all the islands. I mean, we really were at the forefront by accident of the industry. And I mean, that was like hardcore on the job training for the hospitality world. And I learned everything I know from those 5 years.
So you're out there and you're like, okay, I've got to work. And what was it about the climate or the opportunity that you saw with the hotels where you seized the moment?
So I wasn't targeting hotels, but everybody, all my friends, like their families, was either working for or owned hotels. Tourism is just so massive in Asia. There's 10 hotels on every block. So, and I knew that the only thing that I did know how to do is sell. And a nice way to phrase selling is marketing. So I was like, well, let me open up a marketing agency. Let me just see what happens. I'm sure I can get a couple of these hotels as clients. And that's when digital really started to take off. So all of our work was, back in the day when social first came out, it was website, it was SEO, it was graphic design, it was, that sort of thing. And then it very fast got into social media.
Wow. So you were based out of Bangkok at this time as well?
Yes.
It grew the agency. How long did you have the agency there?
5 years.
And
five
then,
years. And then so and then as with any agency life business, um, you find yourself is all you're doing is putting out fires. The fun is no longer there. I will never own another agency again. You could not pay me a salary of $1 million a year to own another agency because it's simply not fun. It's fun in the very beginning and it's fun doing outreach and the campaigns. But other than that, you're literally putting out fires every single day. So I have zero desire to do that. I will only do what makes me happy. And so I ended up selling the agency. And I was very early on social. Like I was first 2,000 people on Twitter. I was the first American expat in every Asian country to have 1 million followers on Twitter, which got me speaking gigs, which got me newspaper headlines, which got me consulting gigs. And then it just steamrolled from there on. So I sold the agency. I ended up bouncing around. I ended up living in Thailand for 11 years, Philippines for a year, Sri Lanka for a year. Then I came to Europe, Spain for 4, Portugal for 1, London for 1. And then I came back to the States in 2015. And that is actually when I really blew up officially because that's when social media and brands started to put real budgets behind social media. 2015, 2016, things like that. I came back and I was approached to be the TV host for the first travel series on Lifetime. It was called Video Globetrotter. So that was successful. And I just started doing really big campaigns. Like I did a lot of things with F1, New Zealand Tourism, Air New Zealand, Singapore Air. I mean, just I did the first round the world campaign for Star Alliance, just really big stuff. But while I lived in Europe, I ended up like I was just thinking like I was thinking of my life in Thailand. I was thinking of my life in general, like traveling and where the industry is going. And I was like, I have no reason for anything anymore. So I sold everything that I own about 12, 13 years ago. And I live full time in hotels. So even in between trips, like right now, I'm in Miami from now until the 20th when I go to Europe. I'm staying in hotels. I'm in Fort Lauderdale right now. I head to Miami on Friday. And yeah, so it's awesome. I own nothing. I have clothes I swap out for, am I going to Hawaii or Antarctica? Those are two different packing techniques. And yeah, that's it.
there's so I like my mind is
And I meet
swirling.
cool people like you on LinkedIn.
That's true. That's true. I got to unpack this. So, okay, so you come back, and you have you're moving very fast on social. You amass a huge follower count, and I'm kind of like drawing a bunch of conclusions. So check me on this. That you're not really risk averse. You're willing to try stuff. You're willing to be the first to do stuff, maybe even out of this for the sake of fun. And you seem to say
But
yes.
do you know why I'm so risk adverse? Because in my head, I already have it. In my head, the worst thing that could ever happen to me in my life has already happened. So like now, what's my downside? Like I have no kids, I have no wife, I have no girlfriend. Like I'm single. I'm like let's just go.
Wow. Yeah, the worst thing that could happen has already happened. Wow.
Yeah.
The safety net's gone. The just jump and live. Wow. And now, traveling around the world. I know you're speaking at an upcoming conference, right? The Independent Hotel Show. What are you speaking about at that show? And what have the 13 to 15 speaking engagements been like for you? What are you talking about out there?
So on that show, I'm one of the brand ambassadors for the Independent Hotel Show conference. And well, the one in Miami. And I am moderating a panel and speaking on a panel. I'm moderating a panel all about F&B strategies in hotels, and I'm speaking on a panel all about quiet luxury and wellness and things like that. So pretty diverse topics, but I always stay in the hospitality realm. Um,
Yeah.
you know, I I you know I fly to Europe after that, and I'm speaking at the Med Cruise General Assembly, which they're basically the Chamber of Commerce or the association for all the ports in the Mediterranean. So I mean, what's that? 100 and something port? Like it's a ridiculous amount. So they have two general assemblies every year, and me and my friend Andrea, we have a 45-minute session. Just it's not a panel; it's just us basically giving the audience a workshop on how to storytell the ports, how to drive better engagement, how to see more ROI, and just all kinds of stuff. Um, so it's different. It's a little bit different at every speaking engagement, but it all generally wraps around where we are right now, what we're going to see in the next 6 to 12 months, and how we can make our brand better today moving forward. And when I speak at the VC events and family office events, it's all about them investing in hospitality. So I still talk about hospitality, but on the much more on the business side.
Yeah. And you've been able to position yourself correctly as a subject matter expert. When you do something like you're about to do for the ports, what's the preparation like for that?
I take a lot of it from personal experience. Um, I work with Croatia tourism. I've lived in Portugal. I've lived in Spain. I work heavily with the cruise lines. So I take a lot from what I see in real life. Like I don't need to scrape data to figure out if Barcelona's doing it right or if they're doing it wrong. I don't need to pull research to see how the ports in Croatia are doing this cruise season. I know because I work heavily with the cruise lines. I create content for a lot of these ports and a lot of these cruise lines, and so I just sit down and I dig into my own content and on my own experiences, and I come up with something that's tangible. I what my whole goal with when I speak is I want to give more value than they think I'm going to give.
Mm. Hmm.
I mean, listen, truth be told, when people hire me for my consultant or creative brand strategy or digital strategy or anything that's not like influencer stuff, right? Or to do a social media workshop, realistically, so all they have to do is like read my LinkedIn post every single day and take notes. But people need that real life motivation of, oh, I can touch and feel and see you. I'd rather have you here saying it. But I say the same things.
Yeah,
It
I
might
mean,
be
you
tailored
definitely
towards
bring
your
the energy.
business. Correct. And it might be
Yeah.
tailored towards your business, but truth be told, if you were on a budget, just copy what I do. Like what I write. Like it's the same thing.
Yeah, and you do give so much. I mean, any of your followers will attest that you're just constantly pushing stuff out there, messages, positivity. The shirt here, humankind, right? Be both. I want to go back to something you said that's super interesting. So, because I think it might have to do with how much you pour into the industry and how much you give of yourself. You said no wife, no kids, and I don't know if that's related, right? Of what happened to your father, and you said like I don't want a family, but
Oh, no, no, no. No, definitely not. I've never been adverse to it. I was actually engaged to a girl when I lived in Thailand, a Thai girl.
uh,
Um, but it was when I had my agency and I figured out that the agency was going to get sold and I was going to start traveling around and she wanted a normal life. And I didn't. Um, you know, I never understood, even when I was little, I never understood people that have their goals is I want to be married and have kids and like have a nice life. Well, your goal should be I want to be happy.
yeah,
If that involves finding the right person and getting married and having kids, like that's wonderful. But that should be the ultimate goal, not getting married. And in my opinion, and it's again, it's one person's opinion. That's why we have so many horrible marriages because that
people do.
shouldn't be your goal.
A lot of times, we hear like, oh, well, it's the next step, the next
Right,
step
right,
of
right, right,
maturity,
right, right.
the next step of things that are expected of us.
Sure.
I can't tell you how many times people told me, when are you going to put a ring on her finger? Then there's the ring on the finger. And when are you going to have the first baby? It's like, there is that. But for you, there's just such a contrast, right? Because you were like, I'm planning to be a police officer, have the kids, have the wife, have the white picket fence, and that was set. And now you're like giving so much of yourself. I mean, this is like a labor of love where you're pouring into the industry, you're helping people, you're helping businesses, you're helping individuals get better. It's kind of become your calling.
It's definitely a labor of love because I can promise you I make like 10% of what I used to make when I was in finance. I mean, it's not even close. It's but it's fine, like I'm around the best people. I mean, listen, you're around hospitality people all the time. They're the greatest people on the planet. Like, I love it. Like, I have so many friends in this industry now, and I love it so much. It just makes me happy. I mean,
No
just
matter what,
like
I'm
us
staying in this
us
industry.
meeting people on DM, and the photographer that I travel with all the time, like I met him on Instagram DM. I met on LinkedIn DM. Like, I have no doubt, other than your taste in the city that you live and all your teams, I have no doubt that we'll be friends forever. Um, Besides your bad taste, but other than that, we're gonna meet next week and we'll have a great time.
Yeah, and I'm really looking forward to that. I do love this industry. So a lot of people
Great.
don't know this. A lot of people don't know this. We actually started Hover, the technology that delivers video. We started that, and our initial market was e-commerce. So all of my mock-ups I did, all of my pre-sales,
Oh
the
wow.
mock-ups was I would tell people, imagine you're on the North Face, right? NorthFace.com, and
Right,
you're looking
right,
at a
right.
tent, and you have all these questions. Well, can I put this thing together myself on the mountain? How long is it going to take? And they
Oh
can tell
wow.
you about the nylon stitching and everything, but like, what's this thing? How do you do it? And so you'd have to leave the website. You go to YouTube and I'm like, oh, okay, the Winona 910. That's how it is. I'm like, these videos should just be there, right? You should just drag and drop. So we get the team together and we go out to Las Vegas to Shop Talk, the biggest e-commerce conference
Know
there
it.
is.
Yeah.
I believe it's Mandalay Bay, something like that. And we had the booth. We've got a wonderful designer, Rachel. She put the booth together, so we're looking good, we're feeling good, and then we hit the buzzsaw that is e-commerce, and people would come up to us and they would go, "You have 30 seconds. Tell me why I should even consider you at all." And we were like, so and after 10 of those, you're just like, wow, like these people, and they loved it. And we had all the big purse brands and fashion design. You're like, okay, yeah, I want this, we're gonna go live, we'll do this. And then nothing, following up. It was really difficult. We're like, I don't know. They said they loved it, but do they really love it? And
Mm.
the total opposite is true in hospitality, where people hang out. Hey, what are you working on? This looks really cool. And they really want to know, can this help me? Can this help my site visitors? Can this help the guests at the hotel? And there's such a curiosity and a warmth. Even when we go and stay at some of the properties, I tell this story all the time about Don Barnett at the London House in Chicago, one of our clients, who we brought my son there for his 8th birthday. Don has Legos for them, gifts, a London House hat, and just
Cool.
so warm. Hugs when we see him, a Midwest
Very
guy,
cool.
and that is true almost wherever we go. It's hugs and handshakes and smiles throughout the whole industry. I just love it so much, and especially having come from e-commerce to see
Oh, yeah.
how potentially we were going to be treated, but then hospitality opens their arm and embraces us so warmly.
Yeah, I mean, I make comparisons in my head all the time, the finance world versus hospitality. And it's like, I don't talk to one person I used to work with. I mean, I'm connected to a few, but I don't consider I'm friends with any of them.
Yeah, and one theme that constantly comes up here, we always we'll have GMs on or people that are marketing or ownership groups, hotels, and they talk about being bit by a bug. And the bug usually, if I'm like piecing together the patterns of it, it usually has something to do with the time when they were servicing someone in some way, showing them hospitality,
Yeah.
providing a service, and how they felt making someone else happy, getting a job well done, and you do end up saying, I like this feeling. It's like being good, being nice to someone, and the way that they respond and they're able to achieve their goals. So I think I've been bitten by it, since I was a bellman, really, 18 years old
Mhm.
at a hotel. But this industry is just the best. I'm really excited to be here.
I could not agree more. I dive in more and more every day. I was just talking to uh I can't say who I was just talking to, but I was just talking with a, let's say, influencer company based in Europe that are doing very forward-thinking things. And we're talking about me being their global hospitality advisor. Just they're about to do a huge raise. They're going to be something to be a force with. And it's just so interesting that it doesn't matter what the country is, it doesn't matter what the language is, it doesn't matter what the culture is. It's all still the same. You're still talking about the same thing, the same goals, the same, daily activities, it's the same. And today, I mean, it's 11:30 in the morning and I've already had 7 calls, and out of those 7 calls, they were in 5 different countries.
Wow.
And even though everybody's different and everybody's English is like the second or the third language, everybody's the same. Exactly the same. I had 2 calls with Thailand this morning, and it's just like as soon as I get on the call, and they're like "Swadee Hop," and it just makes me all warm and tingly inside. I love it.
It's
It's the
amazing.
best. Yeah.
Well, so currently, so you said you'll never own an agency, but from our pre-call last week, it sounded like you have an
I
agency.
I
Is that
I
it?
operate as a agency-ish because
Okay.
I still provide a lot of those services, but the front door is my DM.
Mm.
I'll never have a brick and mortar. My phone and my laptop, if anywhere that I am, I can work from. I was doing meetings in hotel lobbies long before COVID taught people to do it. And just yeah, I'll never own the actual brick and mortar agency. I will never have 37 full-time employees again. I will never do those things. But agency like and providing services, yeah, sure.
And you probably pick and choose the services that you believe in or you enjoy doing, you think you can add the most value in. What are some of the services that the non-agency agency provides?
So the most popular things that we get hired for is I travel with Chris, one of the top photographers in hospitality. He does full photo shoots. We shoot F&B is his specialty, but we do hotels, cruise lines, destinations, influencer campaigns, obviously. And I do social media workshops. I create brand strategies and or digital strategies for companies. And I'm on a lot of advisory boards. And I do a lot of speaking both publicly and privately. And what I mean by that is, say, for example, an airline brand, I did this last year. They brought me out to their headquarters and I did a talk, just like I would a keynote, but it was only for all of their marketing, PR, and sales employees. They flew them in from all over the world, and I couldn't post, I couldn't talk about it, I couldn't like nothing. I couldn't anything because it was strictly the talk was designed for them, for their industry. We were talking about strategies for 2026, 2027, and it was Q&A, like very, very, very detail oriented on their brand and what they have coming up and currently what's going on in the industry. So I do things like that I can't talk about, and I do things, like next week that I can talk about.
Yeah, and well, so not necessarily the speaking, but someone like you that's sought after subject matter expert. You're taking in information, you're seeing trends and kind of new innovation in the industry. Would love to get your take on where you see 2026. What whether it's a trend or a shift in the market. If you were advising groups, what are you telling them is going to be happening in 2026?
So I think that we're a long ways from COVID, right? we've moved on from recovery to reinvention.
Mm.
So success today is about creating like emotional connections with guests that you've never had before. The best properties treat every stay as a story, you know? Like
Mm.
hotels aren't just selling rooms anymore, they're selling stories and and experiences, and storytelling is what drives loyalty, conversions, things like that. And I actually had a conversation with someone yesterday about hotel websites, and you came to mind because I was thinking about when you showed me the hover. Like, I just think your product is wonderful, and I'm not just saying that. If I thought it was garbage, I would also say that, but I actually think it's great. um you know the website, for people to say websites are no longer necessary, it's like saying business cards are no longer necessary. As digitally forward thinking as I am, I always have business cards in my wallet.
Yeah.
I think that a website is still your digital front desk. It is the epicenter of your digital infrastructure. You have social, you have YouTube, you have TikTok and all these things, but you need to treat your website with the utmost care and the utmost upkeep, because if it's slow or uninspiring, you lose the guests. Your website is the lobby. Yeah, sometimes the lobby is social media, but they can't book on social media. They can't
Yeah.
necessarily go to the specific room type on social media. You know what I mean? Social media is, you're giving them what you want to show them. On the website, I want to see this. I want to see the junior suite with 2 double beds. I want to see what the layout is. You can't get that on social media,
Oh, well, you're not
so
going to get, your colors, your branding, your
100%,
messaging. You can
100%.
get a video, but your website is the only place where you control the whole story.
Correct. Correct. I mean, static content no longer works. This is why people like you exist. People like Hover exists. Like, you enhance what they're already doing. You're not trying to change what they're doing. You're enhancing what they're doing.
Yeah. Yeah, there used to be MySpace. You remember MySpace, the social
I
media?
do.
Well,
Tom
then
was
at
in
least
everybody's top eight.
you could have the music going, on your page. You could have the colors going on your page. That doesn't happen on today's social media.
Correct.
So you can
Correct.
have posts that kind of
Correct.
feel like you,
Yeah, yeah,
but it's
yeah.
not like they've been transformed into your world.
Yeah. Yeah.
Totally true. Need the new MySpace pages coming back out.
I
Oh,
mean,
that's awesome.
literally AOL.com just stopped like a few months ago.
Yeah.
AOL. Like, how long has that not been a thing?
Yeah.
I think
I've
it's
heard it said,
hilarious.
that without a strong website, you're renting guests from OTAs instead of winning them directly.
Wait, as I said before, my next post on LinkedIn is going to answer all your OTA questions, because I think that, okay, I think that OTAs are wonderful for discovery because hotels aren't, because OTAs are spending all the money on ads and social media. They're great. Hotels suck. So if you use it the right way for discovery, and then once the guest gets there, make sure they never book through an OTA again. Make sure they always book direct. That's where hotels have the shortcoming, because they treat an OTA guest, because you can see it on your computer. You treat an OTA guest like they're OTA guests.
Mm. Wow.
If you elevate that guest, they will never book an OTA again. Give them incentive. Hey, I know you booked through whatever, one of the OTAs. If you book through us next time, here's what you get. Or
Absolutely.
here's
And even
or
thanking the OTA for turning you on. Hey, we're so thankful that you found us on
100%.
Priceline. We really enjoy the partnership with them. We'd love to invite you back. If you book direct using our link, you're going to enjoy these other benefits that you may like.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's such a missed opportunity.
Yeah.
But
And
yeah,
so what would you say, just switching gears? I know we only have a couple minutes left. I feel like I could talk to you for 2 hours and still have 10 more hours of material. Where so you're traveling all around the world, and we don't often get guests that travel as much as you do. Where would you say is the most beautiful place, the place where you in your heart feel like you're most at home?
Thailand.
Oh,
It's not even close. I mean, the hospitality that you get there, it's from within. They're raised with it. So you can go to a hostel or you can go to a five-star hotel and you're getting treated exactly the same way.
wow.
Here in the US, if you go to a one-star hotel, you are treated like a one-star guest. You have to pay for hospitality in most countries, including ours, where that shouldn't be the case.
I mean, it's an interesting thought for sure. Uh,
Of
everyone at every budget level would like to be treated like a five-star guest.
course. Of course. And then, just outside of that, I mean, I get asked all the time, what's the best meal you've ever had? And everybody expects me to say the most expensive Michelin star. And I've done all those, and they're great experiences. Best food? Sitting on the side of their street in Bangkok and at a street stall, and like the best food in the world, and it costs like $2. And it's like the craziest, most delicious food you've ever had in your life, like some thumb and like all the crazy Thai dishes, just super spicy. Your mouth's blowing up, but it's like amazing. I miss
Man,
it. I miss
are
it so
you able
much.
to get? Are you able to get in the here in the United States? Has there ever been a place you've gone that has compared to what you've had in Thailand?
Very rare. Very rare. You get it a
Who's
little
close?
bit. You get a little bit in LA.
Mhm.
So LA has the largest concentration of Thais in the US. And they have an area, it's called Thai Town.
Mhm.
So you do get a little bit very authentic over there, but if they have any Americans visiting their restaurants at all, they cook for the American palate, not their own. So when I go to a Thai restaurant, I tell them in Thai, I'm be like, hey, cook like you're cooking for yourself, not like you're cooking for a foreigner like Farang. Like I say no, don't.
Wow.
Yeah.
So on that note of Thailand, then, let's say you continue to pour and pour into this industry. You travel around the world. At some point, you're going to want to not travel all the time. Where do you see yourself anchoring?
If that was the case, which I doubt it will be the case because I'm convinced I'm just gonna die doing what I love. Because retirement is not a word that relates to me. Um, I mean, I would go back to Thailand. It's just so the reason I'm not based there now is because I work heavily with the cruise industry and they're based in South Florida. I work heavily with the Caribbean and it's right here. Um, if I do some domestically, it's an hour flight, 2 hour flight. It's just it's easy to get to Europe. It's easy to get in Thailand. It's like a very inconvenient place to be based unless you're doing business in Asia Pacific. Everything is a haul. Like I just, right now I got called to do a job in Mexico and we were down there for 2 weeks. Like it was such an easy flight.
Yeah.
And that would take so much planning if I was in Asia just to do a Mexico trip. So while I don't have a place here, and I travel full time, it is a very convenient place to be based.
Fantastic. And just thinking, we do attract a younger audience as well. Do some work with universities, colleges. What advice would you have as someone who sees it all from pretty high up in the industry? You've been a lot of places. You've taken a lot of amazing jobs, built companies yourself, and highly sought after at the moment. What advice would you give to young people who are just graduating college who may want to go into the hospitality industry?
Learn as much as you can. You know, apply apply for things that aren't really out there. Like I would look for like a top GM and apply to be a GM's intern, or a director of PR complex that handles multiple properties, apply to be her intern. I would learn as much as I possibly can about the industry because that's the only way you're going to know if it's right for you. Just don't lock yourself down with things. I mean, these days you can, play around online as a hobby, as a side gig, and make a couple grand a month. So, I mean, it's not about the money. It's about, you know, how bad do you want to hustle and how bad do you want to learn? I'm 54 years old. I've been in social media since day one, and I still spend 2 to 3 hours every single day. Weekends, my Sundays are the same thing as my Wednesdays, every single day learning about social media.
Wow.
If there is a social media conference going on in Australia today, as soon as it's put online, I watch it and I download it and I rewatch it and I rewatch it. Like all the just everybody from Gary Vee to Rory Sutherland, the advertising guru from the UK. I mean, it doesn't matter. Anything marketing, advertising, sales, social media, whatever it is, I want to just soak it up.
Unreal.
So never stop learning. Ever, ever, ever stop learning. My brain works content first, real life second. Now there's just no invisible, there's no wall for my personal life, my business life. It's exactly the same.
Wild, man. Wild. And we don't always do this, but we will on this episode. Sometimes we give people the opportunity to turn the table. So last session we'll do here. Any questions you have for me?
Are you coming down so we can go to the football game on Sunday?
I'm going to make that happen.
I'm putting you on the spot, bro, because you said we're posting this in 2 or 3 days, so it's actually going to be posted before the game. So, let's go, baby.
I guess we have to. Let's just do it. It'll be a good time.
Let's just do it. No, it'll be a great time. Yeah. So, are you a home base or do you actually have an office?
We don't have an office, so I'm based right here out of my house.
How big is your team?
We got about 15 full-time people, and same thing with them. We ship them a laptop and a T-shirt, and we all get to work.
T-shirt? That's so cool.
T-shirt, coffee mug. We're doing a swag dump here in a couple days as well, so we'll get them some hoodies for the fall. But I've never been. It's a lean team and clear roles, clear responsibilities. They're all counted for. One of the things so a lot of most of our people tell me that this is the longest they've ever worked anywhere, and they love it. And they all said, especially those who came from bigger companies, they said they wanted to feel like they could make an impact, that they were counted on, like they were needed. They weren't stuffed over in a cubicle and it's like, sit down and be quiet. It's like, we're going to ask you, What do you think? This decision could have a big impact on us. Like, what do you think? And I think even the person who is the newest on the team, they're counted on to make big decisions. They're part of the team. And so it feels like a place where everybody feels and knows that they're making a difference in the company because there are so few of us.
And when did you start?
We've been working on this a little over 2 years.
Where do you see the business in 3 years?
So that is a little part is under wraps because we're ideating to build it. But I think that our business, like you said, content first and then reality. We're coming on to the stage, meaning the websites. We're coming on to the market at a time when we didn't get to build the first website. The first websites, all the websites that we adapt or add to, those were built by people that aren't us. And they were built for very specific reasons.
Websites as well?
What's that?
Do you build websites as well?
We don't.
We
don't. But our product is added currently to websites that we had no say in.
Interesting. Right.
And we would have never chose to build websites in this fashion. And although the norms of the people consuming websites has changed 20-fold, the websites continue to not evolve. And there's a blueprint. It is image, header, subheader, text, right? And then repeat. Maybe they'll flip the image to the other side. And so we believe heavily in a world where all of the websites are reskinned dynamically for the individual person, because we all consume different types of content. We prefer different types of content. You may find someone that's very analytical and wants to read reports and case studies. That's the content that's going to help them convert, feel comfortable, feel confident. Where it might be heavy text for another person. It might be a lot of images. It might be video. It might be social proof, testimonials. And so every element of a website could and should be personalized per visitor with the right content in the right medium. And so we believe that in the future that websites will actually be content driven, content first. Meaning the whole structure, drag and drop, it's going to be consumed quite differently based on the channel entry, your history, known knowns, demographics, a lot of different inputs. So in 3 years, when you visit a website that may be completely powered by Hover, you wouldn't know that it's 100% different experience, just tailored to you and what the builder believes is going to help you make the most informed decision. It's not that they are, because I took a program on neuroscience and we talked a lot about the ethics of it, right? Like don't remove free will, right? But there is an aspect where we can say, hey, you know what, Scott, this type of medium of content in this format for him and his lifestyle, this really resonates the best with him. So we're going to go ahead and show you that. So that's cool. That's a lot. Long way to say content first. Content first websites for this industry, we believe, are going to have a big impact.
So you're building to scale. You're not building to sell.
Yeah. We want to be here 3 to 5 years. And unfortunately, but fortunately, the industry has provided us this golden opportunity.
Of course.
Some of the failures to innovate.
I feel the same. I feel the same because the industry moves like dinosaurs and they don't want to change and they move so slow and everything requires 100 approvals.
Right.
I'll have a job until I'm dead.
Our marketers love. We took a process that would typically take 4 to 6 people, 45 days to do. And we made it, one person can do it in 45 seconds. And now with our generative AI feature, no humans, 1 second. The same exact thing can be done. And so imagine back, maybe even some people are still doing this. If they want to change something on their website, they have to talk to a project manager. They have to go in, talk to the account manager of some firm, some agency that they're spending money with. And then they say, okay, we'll get that done. We'll put a ticket in and then that one change happens. With Hover, 1-2 clicks in less than 5 seconds, and that is already deployed. No QA cycle, just instant rapid deployment of changes. We keep a record. So our marketers love that they're not bound by the shackles of an agency or a typical CMS.
That's fantastic, man. I wish you the best.
Speed is important.
Speed is your friend. Speed is your friend.
Well, thanks for that question. I really appreciate it. And I am yes for the game. So let me confirm outside of that.
Go, baby.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Scott Eddy, for taking the time with us today. Greatly appreciate you.
Thank you so much, man.
And thank you, the audience, for once again listening in. As always, if you'd like to get updates, please be sure to like and subscribe so you get the newest editions always. Thanks so much and have a great day.